On an ordinary afternoon in the city, as the sunlight cast long shadows on the streets, Noah and Emma found themselves walking home from school, as they had done countless times before. Yet today felt different, as if the very air was tingling with something magical. They had always taken the same route, but today something new caught their eye. At the end of the street, an iron gate that had always been there, unnoticed, now beckoned to them. It was old, rusted, and covered in thick vines that seemed to grow thicker by the moment. But what caught their attention was the faint golden glow radiating from the gate, almost as if it was alive. A small wooden sign hanging from the gate shimmered with golden letters. "The Hidden Zoo, only for those who believe." With a sense of wonder, they stepped forward, and, without much thought, pushed the gate open. As soon as they touched the rusty iron, a burst of light surrounded them. It was not like any light they had ever seen. It was golden and warm, almost as if the very air was alive with magic. The world around them began to blur and shift. When they opened their eyes again, they were no longer on the familiar city street, but in the heart of a lush, vibrant jungle. The trees towered above them, their leaves glowing with soft, shimmering light, and strange exotic creatures moved through the forest. There were rainbow-colored elephants bathing in glowing lakes, monkeys with 3 tails chattering from the treetops, and tiny dragons darting playfully through the sky. It was unlike anything they could have ever imagined. As they wandered deeper into the jungle, the children were awestruck by the beauty and magic of their surroundings. Suddenly, a large golden lion emerged from behind a shimmering waterfall. Its golden mane glowed like the sun, and its amber eyes radiated wisdom that seemed to stretch back for centuries. With a deep, rich voice that vibrated the air, the lion spoke. "You have entered the Hidden Zoo, a place of wonder and magic, but it is in grave danger. The enchanted key that protects this zoo has been stolen, and if it is not returned, the creatures of the zoo will vanish into thin air, and the magic will fade forever." Before the children could ask the lion any more questions, a small, quick-moving fox appeared from behind a rock. The fox wore tiny, round glasses that gave him a scholarly appearance. He looked at the children with a knowing expression and spoke quickly. I saw it all." A dark figure, cloaked in shadows, took the key and ran toward the maze of mirrors. It was quick, too quick for me to follow. The fox paused, his ears twitching. "But be careful," he warned. "The maze is not what it seems. The mirrors will show you things, false things, and if you let them fool you, you may never escape." Following the fox's directions, Noah and Emma made their way toward the maze of mirrors. As they approached, the air seemed to grow colder, and a heavy silence surrounded them. The maze itself was an imposing structure made entirely of tall, twisting glass walls. The mirrors reflected everything, but not in the way it truly was. As they entered, the first challenge became clear. The reflections of the children started to move on their own. At first, they thought it was just their imagination, but then they saw their reflections smiling back at them, smiling in a way that felt wrong. The reflections beckoned them forward, but Emma could sense something was off. She stopped, grabbing Noah's arm. "I don't trust them," she whispered. Despite the dangers of the maze, the children pressed on, knowing they had to find the key. Hours seemed to pass as they walked through endless corridors of mirrors. Finally, in a quiet corner of the maze, Emma saw something shimmering, a faint golden light reflecting from behind one of the mirrors. She reached out, but her hand passed right through the glass. Noah had an idea. "What if we have to believe it's real?" he said. They stood still for a moment, closing their eyes and whispering together, "The key is real." When they opened their eyes, a golden key appeared before them, floating in the air like a beacon of hope. Emma reached out and grasped it tightly in her hand. With the key in hand, Noah and Emma raced back to the center of the hidden zoo, where the golden lion awaited them. The zoo was still fading, its colors dulling as the magic slowly slipped away. With trembling hands, Emma placed the key into a magical lock embedded in the ground. As soon as she turned it, a burst of golden light exploded from the lock, flowing through the ground, up the trees, and into the sky. The light spread to every corner of the zoo, and the magical creatures began to reappear. The elephants trumpeted with joy, the dragons soared high above the trees, and the monkeys swung from the vines once more. The jungle came alive again, brighter and more magical than ever before. The golden lion stepped forward once more, his gaze filled with gratitude. "You have done it," he said, his voice full of warmth. "Because of your belief, this zoo will remain safe forever. The magic will live on in your hearts." As he spoke, the zoo began to fade. The animals, the trees, and the sparkling lakes all dissolved into golden mist. The gate reappeared before the children, ordinary once more. The lion smiled one last time. "Perhaps one day you will return, but only if you believe." Emma turned to Noah as the magic disappeared. "Do you think we'll ever find it again?" she asked softly. Noah smiled and nodded. "Only if we believe." As they continued their journey, Noah and Emma were drawn to a narrow path that led deeper into the enchanted jungle. It was almost invisible, hidden behind a curtain of vines. The air grew cooler, and the trees seemed to whisper in a language they couldn't understand. A small, glowing owl fluttered down from a branch, landing on a nearby rock. "If you seek the key, you must first solve the riddle of the forest," the owl hooted softly. "Follow the sound of the songbirds at dawn, and the first clue will be yours to claim." The next morning, they followed the owl's advice and found themselves at the edge of a clearing. A chorus of colorful songbirds filled the air, their melodies ringing through the trees. Each bird's song sounded like a different musical note. As the children listened, they realized the birds were singing in a pattern, almost as if it was a code. Emma stepped forward, recalling a song they had learned in school. "I think I know this. The birds are singing the pattern of the wind." With Noah's help, they matched the notes to the wind's rhythm, revealing a hidden door carved into the ground, leading them deeper into the zoo. Through the door, Noah and Emma found themselves by an enchanted lake. The water shimmered with a magical glow, and strange, large creatures swam beneath the surface. A giant serpent, its scales like liquid silver, emerged from the water, blocking their way. It coiled around a massive tree, its eyes gleaming with an ancient wisdom. The serpent spoke in a calm voice. "To pass, you must first prove your courage. Only those who face their fears can cross the waters." The serpent's challenge was clear. They had to confront their deepest fears. The water before them began to swirl, revealing dark, twisted reflections of their past. Emma saw herself lost in the crowd, unnoticed, while Noah saw a version of himself running away from danger. "It's not real," Emma whispered. "We're stronger than our fears." Together, they stepped into the pool, facing the visions head-on. With a final decisive step, the reflections shattered, and the serpent, satisfied, slithered away, allowing them to cross. After the pool, they entered a thick forest of towering trees that sparkled like stars. The air was thick with the scent of flowers, and soft lights floated around them like fireflies. A trail of glowing silver starlight appeared before them, guiding their way deeper into the forest. As they walked, strange creatures peeked out from the trees: winged lions, foxes with shimmering tails, and birds with feathers that looked like glass. At the center of the forest, they found an ancient well. The stone around it was covered in moss, and the water inside shimmered with a strange, otherworldly light. A voice echoed from the depths of the well. "To continue your journey, you must make a wish from the heart. But be warned, wishes made from selfishness will not come true." Noah and Emma stood by the well, thinking deeply about their wish. After a long pause, Noah spoke. "I wish for the safety of this zoo, for all the creatures to stay protected." Emma nodded in agreement. The water swirled, and a golden light shot up, confirming their wish was pure of heart. Beyond the well, they discovered a narrow cave. It seemed like a simple rock opening, but as they entered, the walls began to shift and change. The cave was alive, and it whispered secrets in languages they didn't understand. At the end of the cave, they saw a glowing portal that seemed to lead to another realm. The portal was surrounded by symbols of stars, moons, and suns. They stepped forward, feeling the pull of the magic, and the world around them swirled with colors they had never seen before. Through the portal, they entered a world that felt like a dream. The sky was filled with swirling colors, and floating islands drifted lazily through the air. At the center of the realm stood a figure dressed in flowing robes, the Dream Keeper. "You have come far," the Dream Keeper said, "but your journey is not over. The key is hidden in the heart of the dream tree, but only those who are not afraid to dream can reach it. Are you ready to face your dreams?" They followed the Dream Keeper to the heart of the dream tree, its enormous roots glowing with starlight. The Dream Keeper explained that the tree held the power to bring dreams to life. "Only when you embrace your deepest dreams and fears can you access the key hidden within," the Dream Keeper said. Noah and Emma closed their eyes, reaching into their hearts and daring to dream of a world where magic would always be protected. As they opened their eyes, the children felt a sudden surge of warmth. At the base of the dream tree, a golden key emerged, shimmering with the magic of the entire realm. The Dream Keeper smiled and handed them the key. "You have earned it," they said. "Now return to the hidden zoo and restore its magic. The world will always need dreamers like you." With the key in hand, Noah and Emma retraced their steps, returning to the hidden zoo. As they crossed the bridge back into the jungle, the air felt lighter, as if the very world was holding its breath. The zoo was still fading, but the moment they inserted the key into the magical lock, a burst of radiant light filled the air. The zoo came back to life, brighter than before. The creatures rejoiced, and the land shimmered with newfound magic. The golden lion appeared before them once more, bowing his head in gratitude. "Because of your bravery and belief, the zoo will be safe for generations to come. You have proven that magic exists as long as there are those who believe in it." As they turned to leave, the zoo began to fade, and the iron gate reappeared. Emma smiled and looked at Noah. "Do you think we'll ever find it again?" she asked. "Only if we believe," Noah replied. As they walked away from the gate, the wind whispered through the trees. It carried the soft sound of magical creatures calling out in the distance. Noah and Emma knew they had experienced something extraordinary, and although the zoo was now hidden, its magic would always remain in their hearts.